Hello there and welcome to another exciting edition of the VH1 Archives. I'm your host, John Fugelsang, and today we bring you the best of a two-part interview with Mr. Elton John from the Mike Douglas Show that originally aired in November of 1977. Let me explain. Now, Mike was originally supposed to interview Elton during an appearance at the legendary and fabulous, I might add, Studio 54 in New York City, but the overwhelming presence of the press and paparazzi, you see, frightened Captain Fantastic so much he decided to cancel the gig. Our first glimpse of the publicity-shy Elton we've all grown to know and love. Now, Elton and Mike managed to reschedule the interview soon thereafter at New York's Tavern on the Green in Central Park. Fine buffet there, I might add. Here, a more relaxed Elton felt comfortable enough to talk with Mike about Liberace, Elvis, and his sexuality. Elton's, not Mike's. So without further ado, I bring you this vintage Mike Douglas episode straight from the VH1 archives.
My next guest is one of the single most influential forces in popular music, a man responsible for having helped reshape the entire music scene in the 70s. And in popular music, where styles and fads are constantly changing. He's a permanent fixture. And this is a long-awaited pleasure for me. Would you please welcome Elton John? I'm so used to saying that, like there's an audience, and they can't actually hear us.
No, never mind.
We have tried desperately to get you.
Yeah, desperately, I know.
We were going to London to do you, and last evening we were going to do you at Studio 54, right, and you want to talk about that at all? Because has life gotten to that point where you cannot go someplace where there are people and relax?
No, I won't tolerate bad manners. I know it sounds awfully pompous, but it's just that I went in and I felt like an animal in the zoo. It was just a rush of photographers, and that I just got very unhappy about the way they acted, really. I will always stay somewhere until everyone's got their last shot or signed their last autograph, but that was really distasteful. And I went out, I got back into the car, I thought about it, and I said, let's go around the block and come back and see if, I just couldn't handle it, really. I mean, no, there isn't a point in my life where I can't, I just thought it was good manners. If they'd have just taken it easy one at a time, I'd have done anything for them. But I couldn't tolerate that. So consequently, everybody had to miss out, which was a drag.
That's too bad. This has been quite a tour for you. Yesterday, you were the first pop music performer to be indoctrinated into the Madison Square Garden Hall of Fame. And also, I want to remind everybody about this, your new album, Elton John's Greatest Hits. Tell me about yesterday, the indoctrination.
That was quite a scene as well. Well, I've got a great ego as far as sports goes. I'm a great fan. I'll go anywhere to meet anybody who's got anything to do with sports because I love it. And when Madison Square Garden came up with this honor, which it is for me, to be sort of indoctrinated into the Hall of Fame and be the first non-sportsman or someone not connected with sport to be indoctrinated in it, I jumped at I was so pleased. And I said, of course I'll do it. And I think it's fair to say that I think we've earned it as far as performers goes. I mean, I played there for 7 days last year, and I think Led Zeppelin broke the record this year. But we do contribute to Madison Square Gardens and the complex that it is. And I was just knocked out to be on the wall with all those great boxers and things like that, and athletes. Wonderful. I go anywhere to get a gold record, and I mean that most sincerely, and I go anywhere to meet sports people.
I'm into sports, too, and we were just talking before that they actually said, go ahead with this conversation. You love soccer, don't you?
Absolutely, yes. I've got a soccer team in England. I'm a chairman of a soccer team, which means I'm the owner. But there's a vast difference in English soccer. It's a hobby. It is not a money-making concern. So my team is there are 4 divisions, if I can explain it. The top division, of course, is where all the big teams play, and we're in the 4th. And there is a system of relegation and promotion, where the top 4 teams in each division go up, and the bottom 4 go down. So everyone switches places so that they can eventually get to the top if they're good enough. So my team are in the 4th. I've got high spirits high hopes because we're in an area just out of London. The place is called Watford. And we have a potential there. My dream is building a 30,000-seater stadium. We've got the room for it and the facilities, and that's what I'm aiming to do. But as I said, it's a non-money-making concern, so you do it basically as a hobby.
For love.
For love, yeah.
Sure.
Over here, if you want to invest in a soccer franchise over here, I think you're allowed to make a little money out of it. So it's a totally different thing. It's still exciting, but for me, I suppose England and the team I'm with at the moment is more exciting, although I would like to get more involved with the soccer scene over here. I've been involved with the LA Aztecs, but I haven't been too happy actually with the way I have been involved. I think I've been used just as an object, really. So maybe that'll sort itself out, but I want to get involved much more in American soccer on a professional basis, because I know a lot more, and I could give much more advice, and they think I know. They probably just think, well, he knows nothing about it, but I do know, being chairman of a club in England.
You think that in the foreseeable future there will be anything like a soccer World Series in America that will catch on to that level?
I'm entirely convinced by it, really, because it's firmly planted now. Pelé laid the roots. He was the only man in the world that could have done it, and signed for the Cosmos and created excitement. But in areas like the Northwest and Seattle, it's enormous. Kids, just everyone's playing soccer. And I hope eventually, within 10 years, it's not unreasonable to think America could have the world's best soccer team, made entirely out of American-born people. And I think that's incredibly exciting.
What a marvelous man. I know you've met him. Isn't he special?
Oh, he's incredible. He's the most
humble.
Awe-inspiring. He's humble, but
and
he's
humble.
The best tribute I can pay him is that he's totally unaware of how wonderful he is, which is great.
That's right. We'll be right back with Elton John.
I stopped touring in 1976 at the Madison Square Garden concerts because there was a feeling inside of me that says, hold on a minute, am I getting a little mechanical?
I can't lie.
Can I ask you briefly about this book, which was just handed to me? Elton, it's a little bit funny. Tell me about that.
Well, a friend of mine called David Nutter is a photographer, and he lives in New York, but I know him from England. And he basically followed me around for a year, taking photographs on stage, off stage, in my private life as well, and taking some amusing photographs. It's really a book of funny things and me being ridiculous. It's an unusual book of photographs.
Does Elton John know when he walks on stage what he's going to do, pretty much? How much of it do you have planned, and how much just happens spontaneously?
Well,
because I have a feeling, seeing you on the Rock Awards with Diana Ross that night I saw you there, that much of what you were doing was very spontaneous.
Well, because we didn't have a script, it had to be spontaneous. No, it's spontaneous mostly, but I mean, you obviously have a script, but I never know at any particular time what I'm going to do. However, I stopped touring in 1976 at the Madison Square Garden concerts because there was a feeling inside of me that says, hold on a minute, am I getting a little mechanical? I didn't think I was, but it wasn't a clinical and a sort of calculated opinion as far as the brain work goes. It was a feeling in the stomach. You know when you get stomach feelings, it's an instinct thing?
Yep.
And I thought, hold on a minute, I've been doing this for 7 years. I got to take a little break. I've got to devote some attention and some energy to some other things. So that I can get my enthusiasm. I felt my enthusiasm for it might be waning. So I stopped, and hopefully I'm going to come back again next year with a band. I have no set plans, but I know I'll do something. My interest is now sort of getting alive again as far as recording and playing to public again.
I also read that you were thinking seriously of playing more intimate clubs.
Absolutely. I did a tour of England, and I played small halls because that's the only sort of halls you can play in England. And I liked it. I got a little fed up. I played Pontiac Stadium, Detroit, and I saw all these faces squashed up against the sort of barriers, and I thought, this isn't what I started out wanting to do. It's all very ego. It's a great ego trip seeing 60, 70,000 people to see you, and it's great fun, I don't deny it. But somewhere along the way, I think rock and roll has lost its path in the fact that it's become so big, it's become such a big machine, the record company's taken over, and I have helped contributed to that, so now I have to really go back and do what I feel artistically is best for me, and I really would like to play the Carnegie Hall or somewhere like that when I come back. Not because I don't enjoy playing Madison Square Garden, but I feel artistically that I don't honestly want to play too big a place again. I'd rather reach out and touch the audience rather than see them squashed up against a fence, if you know what I mean.
Yes, will this mean there'll be a more, a different approach to your music?
Who knows? I've no idea.
But you're toying with that idea, I have the feeling.
I've got to I'm still reevaluating myself, which is a terribly American expression, really trying to get to grips with myself. I'm very excited about what's going to happen, but I don't know what's going to happen, if you know what I mean. I'm recording this weekend with Tom Bell, who is a brilliant black musician and produces the Spinners. And this will be entirely different for me. I won't be playing piano, I'll just be standing up and singing. And he's written 4 of the 6 songs that we're gonna, well, he hasn't written, he's found 4 of the 6 songs that we're gonna do. And only 2 of them have been written by myself and Bernie Taupin. So that's
I had
exciting.
Bernie on my
for-
show one time. He was a charming guy. It
Yeah,
was
he's lovely.
marvelous. I had 4 songwriters on the show, all from different areas. Country, I had Isaac Hayes and Bernie, Tom T. Hall, and Marvin Hamlish, and it was a marvelous show. To see the 4 of them sitting there comparing notes. And
Well, he got
fascinating.
robbed at the show in Elton the other night.
Oh, was he there
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
hit that
They
place?
pitched his diamond beer can. So yeah, he's coming up to Seattle with me. I'm excited because I've never done anything like that before. So basically, my career, I'm very positive about it, but I don't know what's going to happen yet, which is great.
Okay, that was part 1 of Mike Douglas's interview with rock superstar Elton John. Perhaps you've heard of him. What you're going to see right now is the second part of that interview, which aired the next day on Mike's show. Now pay close attention here, Elton fans, because this is the point during the interview where Mike starts to really probe Elton.
Can I ask you a question that I hope doesn't turn you off?
Yeah.
So many of us, when we're starting and we're comparatively new in this business, borrow from people who have already arrived. Not to the point where people can recognize what we're doing, but a little here and a little there. Did you do any borrowing along
Oh,
the way?
absolutely. I still do it.
From whom?
Well, originally, my great